Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Last week on the program, we had the pleasure of visiting with the University of Vermont President Tom Sullivan. He's stepping down at the end of this month after 7 years on the job. Today, we've asked President Sullivan to return to Across the Fence, and he's joining us once again to discuss issues connected to UVM, that community, and the broader Vermont community. Thank you so much for returning.
Good afternoon, Fran. Nice to be back across the fence.
Yes, it's great. As you approach the end of your tenure, what would you consider your most important accomplishments?
Well, as I reflect back, I really think it is the strategic action plan where we set out 4 principles: affordability for students and financial access, enhancing the quality of the university at every opportunity, aligning budgets and priorities so that we were very disciplined as we have balanced budgets every year, and then coupling with that a comprehensive campaign where we've been able to go out and raise approximately $575 million that aligns directly with affordability, scholarships for students, new facilities to transform the campus for 21st century teaching and learning and success of our students. I think it's the focus on raising quality at every opportunity, enhancing our teaching and research success, and making sure that students have a great educational opportunity, be as engaged as possible, graduate on time, and do it in a way that's all affordable for the students.
Is there anything that's unresolved or that you feel what needs most attention now?
Well, I think what needs the most attention, and it's what I faced early on, and I know my predecessors did as well, and that is the financial constraints and barriers that we have trying to enhance the quality and success at UVM. Our budget is the last or second to the last supported in terms of dollars from the state legislature. Our operating budget is only 3% coming from the state of Vermont. The balance of 97% has to be raised through tuition or private donations. So the financial challenges are still with us. I think they're a bit better now because of the highly successful comprehensive campaign that, as I mentioned, raised approximately $575 million to support student success and faculty achievement. But it's still there, and I would hope that our legislature can step up. I think there's very good will there, I understand that, but higher education needs to have greater investment from the state of Vermont because we want to make sure that UVM continues to be the economic engine of the state, keeping our students of talent, recruiting new students of talent from outside, and creating a workforce that will make Vermont very attractive for our young people here to stay or to bring in young people for the future of Vermont. And I think UVM is the institution. It's Vermont's land grant, it's Vermont's research, it's Vermont's only comprehensive university, that we can do that by retaining our Vermont students and attracting other students to be the future generation workforce for Vermont.
Well, certainly this is an issue that so many people are talking about, is how to retain our young people here in a rural state that is getting older. What is UVM doing to help make that happen?
Well, we are, as I mentioned, the research institution for the state. We work as closely as we can with the legislators for them to understand what research we're doing, how that can benefit all citizens in Vermont. As you know, because of this wonderful program Across the Fence, we have close to 100 of our faculty and staff at UVM working through extension in rural Vermont. We have 12 offices across the state. Right there, neighbors to our community citizens in rural Vermont and on our farms. We have colleagues right there in their communities helping them understand cutting edge new research that will help them be able on their farms to be more effective and more productive and more predictable for them. So UVM has a direct outreach right into rural Vermont, as well as, of course, a national reputation.
Well, so is there something unique about being a president of a university that is in a very rural state?
It is because the challenges are different, quite frankly. And in Vermont, we're small, we are rural, we are a very aging population, as you mentioned earlier. And in terms of higher education, the demographics are a severe drop for us. New England particularly, when you look at the cohort of students coming out of high school eligible to go to college, Vermont has lost over 50,000 students, K through 12, in the last 20 years. So we have fewer younger people, and many of those, when they do come out of high school, only about 50% of our Vermont high schoolers go on to college. That's a big challenge. That's something that we have to try to correct, because we know from everything from the research and from life that a college experience, regardless of the major, that college experience is the key for jobs and careers and a well-lived life. It is the precondition, and UVM is trying to encourage Vermonters to come to UVM, be engaged, be successful, graduate in a way that we can help them afford and stay in Vermont.
Well, and affordability is huge. Higher education is certainly getting the attention of the U.S. Presidential campaign on free tuition, student loans. What has your experience as the president of UVM taught you about those issues?
Well, what I know is, as I said earlier in this program, my priority has been affordability and financial access for our students. And we've been able to do that by having the lowest tuition increases in the last 40 years at UVM.
Still some, but lowest.
We've had very modest increases. All have been under 3% on average. We have supplemented that with very significant scholarships and financial aid. Over 90%, 92% of our Vermont students receive scholarships and financial aid. 45% of all of our Vermont students go to UVM tuition free, because of our scholarship and financial aid support, because of the success of our comprehensive campaign, where we've raised over $83 million for new scholarships. That commitment to moderate and hold down the cost of higher education, I think we've been able to achieve that at UVM. Students able to afford it through our scholarships and financial aid, graduating on time, and a great, terrific record on employment and career choice after they graduate.
And such an important piece. You know, people may not know that you have a law degree, and it's not that many college presidents have that degree. How has your legal background shaped your presidency, or has it?
Oh, it's been a significant influence on me. My education and my training, I've been a lawyer for over 40 years. I practiced law before I came into the academy to teach and to write. I was a federal prosecutor. I worked for a large New York, Washington law firm. So I had a lot of experience as a trial and an appellate lawyer coming in. Every day, Fran, on this job, there are legal issues that are brought to my attention or that I see. Whether they're employment issues, contract issues, issues of student conduct or behavior, First Amendment issues, Title IX issues regarding sexual assaults that we see across the landscape of society today. All of those issues are visited in one way or another on a college campus. And so as a lawyer, I see and hear that quickly, and we try to get to those resolutions quickly because perhaps of my experience. And
very helpful. So you've indicated that you'll be writing a book on First Amendment, on free speech, in the context of higher education. What is the focus of that book?
Well, the focus of the book started out to be, the title I was working with was Speech and Expression on Campus. I broadened it a bit because the issues are so related to society at large. The issues we're debating in Washington or in Montpelier, they're very similar to those that we are unique to the campus itself. So speech has become quite an issue of topic of conversation, as you mentioned.
And both faculty and students.
Yes, for faculty and everybody in our community. And as an educator, I can tell you that I think one of our greatest challenges in the United States today is the lack of civic education. that we have in America today. When many of us grew up, civics as a course, as a program of instruction, were required in grade school and high school with exams, and you didn't advance. We don't have that today. And what I found as a teacher and educator is we have vast populations in college students and in society today that don't have some of the fundamental understandings of our Constitution, of our Bill of Rights, how we operate in a civil society where there's rule of law, no person above the law, and what people understand about that. And speech is one of the most important principles that underlies our Constitution and Bill of Rights. And so given sometimes the very contentious nature of speech in society today, I thought, well, perhaps as a lawyer, a constitutional scholar, a teacher, I could make a contribution to help fill that civic education gap that I see.
Great. And actually, you were also a consultant on to the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee on nomination to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
We don't have time to go there, but that's a really interesting piece of things. Any words for incoming President Garamella about what he might experience or what UVM is all about?
Well, our new president is very experienced, so I hesitate to offer unsuggested or recommendations. But what I've learned clearly and deeply is that to be a successful leader, at least in higher education, I don't want to expand beyond that, I don't have that experience, it is about relationships. To be able to build the trust and the confidence of the leader, there has to be close relationships and understanding and communication between all the constituent groups. So I would say to all of us in leadership positions, it's much more about relational leadership, relations between people, good communication and understanding, and from that credibility and trust and hopefully success follow.
Thank you for your leadership, President Sullivan, and good luck to you in the future.
My pleasure, thanks.
And thank you for joining us Across the Fence. I'm Fran Stoddard.